Rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Takes us that flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Jim County Commissioners Court for today, March 28, 2025, 9 a.m. is now in session. Is there an echo in here? I hear myself like an echo.
They adjusted the speakers. Sound different.
Agenda item number 3, public testimony. Is there anybody in the public who would like to address the court at this time? We have anything? Right here, Judge.
I'm good. Sorry.
No problem, you're good.
I apologize, my voice is shot. I'm a nurse, so I've been doing a lot of education, and I just hope y'all can bear with me. My issue is,
Can you state your name for the court, please?
yes, my name's Daniela, Daniela. Last name is De Leon, Deleon. I reside in precinct 2, off of 359 and 2044. May I address you, or do I address you? I don't know how this works.
Address the court.
Just all of us.
Okay, so there's an issue that we've been dealing with. Apparently, our trash is no longer going to be picked up. I believe you're my county commissioner, correct?
Right.
So we were told that precinct 1, which I respect you, sir, because I know that you're trying to take care of your constituents. We were told for precinct 2 and 3, we're no longer going to have our trash picked up anymore by precinct 1. So my question for you is, what is your solution to that issue?
We cannot speak on the issue, but these are the people that you need to reach out to, and they're
I
already.
already did.
They're already signing on
Hold
people
on,
that,
hold on. It's public testimony, so
yeah.
we're not allowed to respond.
Okay,
Those are the people that are already signing up people.
and they're full.
Can you contact
Yes.
after the meeting?
Yeah, okay, yeah,
What time is that?
Whenever we're done.
after the meeting.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Well,
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Nobody else like to address the court at this time? Okay. Hearing none, we'll go to agenda item number 4, discuss, consider, and take action to approve minutes from previous meetings. Can I entertain a motion?
Motion to approve, Judge, presented.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Can you give this, please? Agenda item number 5, consent agenda. Consent agenda items will be voted upon on one vote and will not be discussed separately unless requested by the county judge, commissioner, or a citizen.
Items, and they are allowable budget transfers with y'all's approval.
No issues?
Motion to
Motion to
approve item
approve.
number 5. It's presented.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
There is an echo. There is an echo.
Yeah, I hear it.
Can I sing a song then?
Okay, so we have agenda item number 6, but I'm gonna put a hold on that one and go straight to number 7 because I know we have a lot of a lot of sheriff department folks here, and I know they got stuff better to do than to wait for their agenda item. So I'm gonna go to agenda item number 7. Discuss, consider, and take action requesting the addition of 2 deputies to the Criminal Investigation Division, CID, to be part of the newly formed Violent Crimes and Fugitive Task Force.
I'm Sheriff Baker. So I'm here today to address an issue that not only affects individuals, but impacts all of our neighborhoods. It strains our law enforcement resources, and it threatens the
Can you get the
foundation.
speaker a little bit closer?
It threatens the foundation of our community, which is the fight against violent crime. So we've had a recent rise of gang-related violence in our county, and it constitutes a grave public necessity. In this unusual and unforeseen circumstances the sheriff's office is currently facing puts innocent citizens at risk. Violent crime, it undermines our public trust. It devastates families that fall victims to this violent crime. And in confronting this challenge, one of the most effective strategies that's available to us is a multi-agency task force. And in this case, the Violent Crimes and Fugitive Task Force. So the Violent Crimes and Fugitive Task Force is the most effective strategy available to us, because it will create a collaborative environment where the Jim Wells County Sheriff's Office, the Alice Police Department, the Texas Rangers, the District Attorney's Office, and other essential stakeholders can work in unison to address this issue of violent crime that we're currently facing. So this task force is designed to break down the traditional barriers of communication, and to allow us to share intelligence quickly and to more thoroughly conduct investigations more quickly, therefore preventing further escalation of minor incidents that have been turning into violent occurrences. So the simple fact is that no agency can fight violent crime in isolation or by itself. It takes a unified response from all of us. Criminals, they exploit the gaps in our communication. They don't respect our jurisdictional boundaries. They don't recognize city limits or county lines. And by integrating collaborative, intelligence-led policing, then we're better able to identify these threats early on. And by law enforcement partnering together, we can monitor these at-risk situations and intervene before they become violent incidents. Now, this is a proactive stance, and this proactive stance is essential to dismantling criminal organizations before they become entrenched into our neighborhoods. I can tell you from in communities where I've worked where these violence reduction strategies have been put into place through multi-agency task forces, there have been marked decreases in homicides, drive-by shootings, and other drug-related violent crime. So, but to achieve these same results, we have to address our current resource constrictions. So to bolster our capacity to address this emerging issue that we're having right now, I'm requesting emergency expenditures, specifically $101,222 to hire, and that does include the fringe benefits as well, to hire 2 criminal investigators to devoted to the violent
How much
crimes.
was that again?
I'm sorry?
How much was that?
$101,222. And they will be dedicated to this violent crimes and fugitive task force. The community is more likely to engage with us and work with us on these investigations whenever they see a collaborative effort by law enforcement working together to protect their families and to protect our neighborhoods. And that's what we're here for. This battle against violent crime, it's a complex battle that requires not only law enforcement, but our community leaders to work together. And so I urge our commissioners, community leaders, and citizens to support this initiative. Together, we can break down the barriers that we have between our law enforcement. We can enhance our collective capabilities. We put our resources together, and then we can work toward a future where our community continue to grow and thrive. So thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
So, first of all, I want to thank you guys and thank the police departments from our cities, because I know Commissioners Court supports you guys 110%. You guys are cleaning up the county, cleaning up the cities, and we really appreciate that. And it's evident because we have our jailhouse full, and we have, I think, counted this morning, 53 in another house in another county's jail, which is putting us, in financial distress. But we understand that we're trying to clean up our city, trying to clean up our county to make it the best. Now, the request, what happens usually is a budget's approved the year prior, starts January 1st of the calendar year, and we go through that through the whole year. Most of the time, basically all of the time, correct, Cindy? We don't add positions during the year. That has to do with a budget amendment and creates other issues. Now, we can discuss it. I know that maybe some of our commissioners may have questions. We can open it up for discussion, and then we can make our decision. But I want to make that known, because like I said, we really appreciate it. We're trying to clean the county, but we also have to stick between the budget and our budget parameters. A fact of the matter is, no matter what we're doing right now or what we're talking about, the budget dictates what can allow and what can allow. So, commissioners, is there any questions for the sheriff?
I have a couple of questions, or at least one question. Do you have any open positions at this time as far as deputies, or all positions are filled?
So I do not have any open positions right now.
Okay.
They're all filled.
So you can't take any of these existing deputies and assign them to that task force for the moment?
So the issue is that we need to be proactive right now. All of our deputies are answering one call to the next. We don't really have enough deputies at this time to be proactive.
Okay.
So sometimes we may have 2 deputies, sometimes we may have 3 deputies on duty. And if you listen to the calls, which I do all the time, and some of these guys can testify to that, they're going from call to call to call. So if we remove one of those, now we do have 2 at the academy right now that are waiting to come back. But even then, we don't have enough in the patrol division. We're just creating another problem. If we take from the patrol division and we add to the criminal investigative division, we're just creating another problem where we won't be able to answer those calls in a timely manner. Response times before I got here were even, upwards of 45 minutes, and it's not the deputy's fault. It's a large county. And to be honest with you, the Alice Police Department, half the population lives here, half the population lives out in the county. They have many more officers than we do, including criminal investigators and officers. So we're doing the best we can with, what we're given, but that wouldn't be feasible.
So you're saying the city of Alice has more officers than you do?
Yeah, oh, absolutely, yes, sir.
Yeah, and that's not the way I understand it. Anyway, are they getting 2 extra deputies or extra personnel?
The city?
Officers, yeah, the city?
Not that I'm aware of.
Are they,
Not that I'm aware of it. Not the city. I don't know anything about how many the city has.
yeah, because I think what I understand, they're trying to work within their budget.
Yeah, I believe they have.
And I think what's going on right here, I think that's exactly what we need to do. exhaust all our efforts and try to make it work. And if it doesn't work, budget hearings here in another 4 months, and then it'd be a proper time to address, edit, to increase your budget.
So I showed each one of you a video of a drive-by shooting that happened a few weeks ago. Since I've shown you that video, and I have the video here, and I think Renee wasn't able to see it, if you'd like to see it. But we have that video here if you want to play it.
Yeah, well, I've seen it, you showed it to me.
And then
And
since-
the issue is, there is a problem. There's been a
And then
problem
since
for a
then,
long
last
time,
weekend,
and,
there's been an additional
yeah, so
drive-by shooting.
how we address it is, to me, I don't think it's a money problem. I think it's just, getting down to your budget and see where you can find the resources to make it work, at least for the next few months, till we get to budget hearings.
So we are operating within our budget, and I've determined that we do not have the resources available to address this problem as the sheriff. That's why I'm here today. We are doing the best we can with what we have.
Yeah,
The two vacant positions that I have listed here, are they the ones that are in the training?
Yes,
Okay, yeah, so you have two in training, that's why
yes, sir, that's correct.
they don't show vacancy.
anyway, my feelings is, my budget, things happen. And, I can't go to the general fund and say, look, I need an extra $200,000, I mean? It's just, you discuss those matters during budget hearings. And I know that law enforcement is very important. Nobody's, I mean? And we probably gonna get criticized if we decide not to, come up with 2 deputies. But we also, the pie is the same size, our monies is the same, it hasn't changed. What we budgeted, we're budgeted. We budget you, we budget the judge's office, our budget, every budget is within that pie. Now, there's no really extra monies that we can say, hey, let's give them $100,000, That's my view, but, and like I say, I'll probably get criticized. I really, I just think we as elected officials need to do the very best we can with what we are given at the beginning of the budget hearings. And maybe I'm speaking out, maybe out of term or out of line. I don't know. I just don't think that we can amend our budget at this time.
There's not any grants, anything out there available?
So we apply and we get all of the grants that we can, and we do use those every day. That's what allows us to, keep a lot of the deputies. They work 12-hour shifts, and then they'll go work another 8 hours. And those grants also have strings attached to them. We cannot use a grant to hire criminal investigators on a task force. They have to be either out on the highway, for example, our Stone Garden grant. There's specific, we're out there looking for illegal aliens, drugs, and stuff like that, but we have no grants that are for investigative purposes. There's none out there for that.
I think that what Mr. Garcia, what I gather of the information through the judge and Mr. Garcia is that it's the part of amending the budget. It's not that they're denying you the fact that they're gonna give you positions. My advice, I don't know if it's possible or not. I would think if you had drug forfeiture, try to work it out for there to see if we can go through until we get to the budget and then bring back information to us saying, look, this is what we did. And then when the budget is come about, then it can get financed a lot easier than it would us amending right now. I think that's what I gather from Mr. Garcia and the judges. It's the amending part. It's not that they don't want. If you come, it's I guess timing. If you come in here in what is it, August talking in the budget, I don't think it should be a problem. It's just amending the part. So I'm saying if you do forfeiture supported right now, and then, I mean, I went over my budget last year, but I can justify it by saying we did 29.2 miles, road construction, but you can justify saying, look, we did this, here it is. And it's a lot easier for us to sustain it, to support it.
Right, and so, and to that, well, I guess what I'm here doing, I'm here requesting under Government Code 111.07, which, Section B, which states that the Commissioners Court can authorize emergency expenditures as an amendment to the original budget only in case of grave public necessity to meet unusual and unforeseen conditions. And in my view, this is a meets that grave public necessity. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it has been done to hire an animal control officer a couple years ago. I'm not sure about that, but that's what I was told. But to me, having a stray bullet hit someone and kill someone, that meets that qualification. So that's why I'm here under that, requesting that amendment.
What was it? What was that again? On the
That's
dog catcher?
Government Code 111.
No, dog catcher, what was it?
The ACO, a couple years ago, I was told, and I'm not sure, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe that there was a mid-budget expenditure to have a salary for a second.
Sheriff Baker, I can confirm that that position was approved during budget.
It was a
budget,
budget,
okay.
yeah, because I was the one that
Okay.
brought that up.
Still,
It was at budget time.
Still, I'm just saying that I'm here under this government code, just requesting these additional funds because I think it meets this qualification. We're saying it's a procedural issue. You brought up the procedural issue. So that's why I'm saying that.
So it's my inclination that when task forces like this come about, that 2 officers, 3 officers, however many they are, they get designated, they go do the task force, and when that project is done, they come back to their regular duties and regular positions. That's not the case on this one?
No, sir. I mean, so I want them to work in this task force continually so that we don't have another 2013. We have to stay on top of this issue. It's going to be an ongoing issue for a long time. I want them to remain in that task force. Now, the Alice Police Department, they've allotted some resources, the Texas Rangers, and of course, and others. But the county, we don't have those because we only have 3 investigators and we have 1,550 open cases at any given time. You still have your sexual assaults, you still have your regular assaults, you still have everything else that we have to continue as part of our duty to investigate and to bring those people, get them justice as well. And so that's where the issue arises, is we only have the 3 investigators. It's just not enough, but I would like the 2 to remain on this task force. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't help with these other things in between, but we need to have them work these violent crimes, identify these gang members, and it's going to be a constant thing going forward, which will bring a lot of safety and security and stability to this community.
Do you have an average on how many cases you file monthly?
I don't know the monthly. I know that we have a month ago, we had 1,550 open cases. We're still trying to work. That includes everything from burglaries to, sexual assaults to, all that.
Yes, I understand that big number, but I think the bottom line is how many are you working on a weekly and on a monthly basis to give us the evidence we need that it's much needed. I think what's needed here, because we're talking verbally, and I think there's more to the story, and it's got to be in writing, and it's got to be substantiated through the amount of cases that you're filing weekly, monthly, however way you file the cases. But that'll give us an idea of how many deputies you have right now, how many cases are being filed, and how many cases are distributed through each of the deputies. I think those numbers would open our eyes, because right now we understand the grave of the situation, and like I said, you guys are doing a heck of a job right now. And it's very evident because, like I said, we have 53 inmates at other jails that we're paying substantial amount of money. I'm not sure that the taxpayers know what it takes, or our residents know what it takes when we're trying to clean up the city and trying to clean up the counties. Because we're paying anywhere from 60,000 to 70,000 a month. We're gonna have to deal with that at the end of the year. So everything that we do during the year, how much money all departments spend is going to affect the bottom line. And I guarantee you, with what's on the line item for the housing of the inmates in another county, and for what we have right now, it's over. And by the time we're talking about it in December, it's gonna be close to $500,000. And we're gonna have to come up with that money. And like I said, Sheriff, anybody tell you that back row, me as county judge, I'm a strong proponent of our agencies, our sheriff's department, and our first responders. I am the strong proponent. I said, but I'm also have to be diligent about our budget. So that being said, I don't know if anybody else has any more questions.
Sure, and I'm not trying to tell you how to run your job or your position or anything, but if it's gonna cost us 101,000 and we're already at the third month, and if you divide it by 2, how much you got left, why wouldn't you create it and support it from drug forfeiture and then come back to the information, here it is, and it's a lot easier to justify it?
Because in the recent years, the drug forfeiture and asset fund has been depleted. We buy our vehicles from that fund and everything. That's not the answer to everything, simply the fact because we don't have it. If I had that in there, I mean, I would definitely do
But if it's
it.
gonna cost you $80,000 between 2 people from here to then, and then come back
So
to
there's
us and say, "This is what we created.
$185,000
This is what we've done so far," then it's a lot easier, like he's saying, bring his information and
Okay,
it's proven.
to answer your question more directly, I have $185,000 in the account, and I still have vehicle payments that need to come out of it, and I would not have $101,000 in that account left.
So they will,
It's just not there. I mean, I understand.
Who else is involved? City of Alice and who?
The Texas Rangers, the District Attorney's Office, and of course, we're gonna bring in Orange Grove and Fremont as well, the PDLs, because it's all over the county, so. And,
You know, you have a lot of support there, you know, I think, you know, it just, you know, are they asking to amend their budgets?
so, that, I don't know what I'm concerned with my budget.
Because I know the city isn't.
The city has, like I said, more resources than the county does at this time. They have that available, we don't.
So their budget is greater than yours?
Yes,
That's
that's
what you're
correct.
saying?
And I appreciate what the judge has said. Judge, whatever format you would like me to do that in, whether it be meeting with you guys or just sending in the paperwork, whatever, we can definitely do that. And I appreciate it. I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to be argumentative. I just, what I'm asking for, that's all.
You know, at this time, I don't think we can, in my vote, right, I couldn't vote for it today. If you know, maybe additional information would help, maybe, trying to, you know,
Is that a motion, Commissioner?
well, you know, I can make a motion to deny it and or to table it, that would be a better option.
Okay, so I developed a worksheet that I presented to the auditor's office for new positions, and this was gonna be introduced during budget for anybody that had new positions that they wanted to recommend or request. And that form has specific questions that I think maybe if you would utilize that form and provide us with all that information, it might give us some more information that we can make a better solid decision. So that being said, if if nobody, has a problem with it, then we can utilize Commissioner Garcia's motion as a motion to table until we get further information. Is there any problem with that, Commissioners? How about Sheriff? Does that sound pretty fair?
So what was the motion?
Okay, that we table the item until we get more information as far as, numbers that we're, could request and that can be substantiated. And then, yes, sir.
Can you come over here?
Morning, Commissioner Judge. Robert Waldrop, Chief Deputy. Can you provide what numbers would you like?
Let's see.
Because I can tell you right now, excuse me, sir.
Go ahead.
We have 4 investigators here right now. One is assigned to DEA, okay? And so actually, one of them is not here, so 5, but one going to DEA, we only have 4 investigators. On average, each one has 350 cases assigned to them a year of all crimes. These 2 positions are going to be specifically to help with the violent crimes. Not only that, but they will assist those investigators with their crimes too. So imagine having 350 investigations of all sorts of crimes assigned to you in a year and having to do that on a daily basis. It's hard. And then people calling you, what's the status of my case? Where's this? Why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? Every day. That's the people that's the community that's getting impacted by that. So, I mean, y'all want numbers?
Yeah, yeah, to me, you can have 1,000 of them. And if the county doesn't produce that type of monies, where do we go? Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? You know, we don't have endless money. That's why we want to table it and see, you know, and revisit it maybe in the next agenda, on our next meeting or the meeting after, you know, but what I'm trying to say, we don't have endless money.
We understand that, sir. We
Yeah.
understand that, but you wanted some numbers. Those are the numbers I could provide you right now.
Okay, so that's partly the numbers that I want, but I also want, cases filed, on a monthly basis and by each one of the deputies. That way it will give us a better perspective on the workload that each one has, that when cases are filed.
Would you like it from a fiscal year to fiscal year, so we can go from, let's say, March of last year to this year?
I'll leave that up to you. Whatever you guys need to think that would substantiate a yes from all of us, then put it down. As much information as you can that's gonna substantiate your need, because we understand completely. And we are of the utmost respect for you guys and for our residents, that we understand. But like I said, you guys are doing a heck of a job right now. But yes, any other numbers that will substantiate y'all's need to be on there. Because like I said, it's very difficult, and we're gonna be setting precedents by doing this in the middle of a year, you know? So I think, Mr. Garcia has had a motion to table.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to table. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you guys. Agenda item, we'll go back to agenda item number 6, presentation and update from Grant Works on all county, Jim Wells County projects.
May I approach?
Yes, ma'am.
A little handout.
Thank you.
These are active or newly closed out, or grants that are, one big grant that's coming down
Might you have one for Mr. Guerra? or-
This packet, the smaller package just doesn't have the maps. The commissioners are. Thank you. Okay, so
Is there an extra one there for Ms. Norma or no?
here, I can give her mine. Yeah, that's all I had, sorry. And I apologize, the covers didn't print on this, but it just had the courthouse on it and it said Jim Wells. These are Jim Wells has a lot of grants. These are only the ones that GrantWorks is working on, and there's a whole list of grants that GrantWorks has closed out, and those are not included in here. This is just what has either been newly closed out, newly awarded, or in the works, in construction phase. And so the first grants we're gonna go over are the Texas Department of Agriculture grants. You'll see here, there's 3. These are the most recent ones. The one that is gonna be should be closed out construction ending in April. That's for Coyote Acres and McMaster's. That was a Colonia Construction Fund, and the amount of $1 million, 75,000 match. And I believe this was all water system improvements. The next grant you see on there is also a Colonia grant. That's the new one that was just received. Judge, I think the award date was February 1st, but we received the award back in November. And that one was for Tecolote. And what happened with Tecolote is we had a water service provider willing to take over the water system that was gonna be built by this grant. We know how much water systems cost. We were gonna drill a new well, we're gonna do all kinds of stuff. We had acquisition in there, then we reworked it, Judge, if you remember. We have an existing well there. We're gonna rework that well. The water service provider backed out, and then we got a new water service provider with Nueces River Authority. And when they wanted to take over, I think they wanted the county to turn over the entire property to them, and then there was some issues with how many people we were gonna serve on that well. As we know, the first well is gonna be the most expensive well, and we can only feed so many houses. Then the next grant would feed the next few houses and the next, and keep going that way. That was the phased plan. Nueces River didn't wanna take that risk, I think, because there was only so many customers. And so,
Can you repeat that? What was that you said?
Nueces River Authority, they backed out
Because what?
because they didn't want to take the risk
Thank you.
with the customers.
Was that recorded? Make sure you recorded that.
That was one issue. The other issue was that they wanted to take the county's property. Also, I think that's how I was told, and that's how I understood it.
Thank you.
Partly. The other reason was we were backed up on that grant because of the timeframes.
And there was a time frame. The time frame, there's thresholds when it comes to Texas Department of Agriculture. And if you don't meet those thresholds, you can't apply for new grants. And you kind of get stuck in that phase of, you have to finish out this one. So there was a lot of
That was the
factors.
majority of the reason, and an update on that one, we still have the $1.2 million from
Correct.
Congresswoman De La Cruz's office at the EPA. So we're trying to devise a phase plan that would best suit the county and best suit the residents over there, as far as utilizing the 1.2 million and then looking for more money.
Correct. There is still some money there. We don't handle that. That's why it's not
Right,
reflected in
right.
here, so I apologize for that. I'm not even sure on the amounts on that. But the residents, there is buy-in from the residents, from what I understood with the first water provider. There's a list of residents that did want to connect. There's a lot more residents than this initial grant was going to pay for. We know that there's a whole lot of residents out there, and there's like several colonias. We all know it as Tecolote, but it's actually platted as several different colonias, and so there's
Distances
potential. Right.
are pretty far from each other.
Correct. The third grant that's on there is Rancho Alegre. And behind this sheet, there's 3 maps, and those are the 3 maps of the projects that we just talked about. So The first one is Coyote Acres. I'm sorry, there's 4 maps. Coyote Acres, that was the McMasters, and then there's the Tecolote, if you wanted to see what that looked like. And then after Tecolote, this is the current grant that has a start date of February 1st. And so this is in Rancho Alegre, and this is Herrera and Rosario Street. And this is also water line upgrades. So those are the Texas Department of Agriculture grants that y'all have going on right now. And then after the water line improvements map, you'll see another table like this. These are going to be Texas General Land Office grants. And you'll have to forgive me on this one because the first 2 I wasn't super involved in, but I wasn't given the maps on these, so they're not in this packet. The real reason I came is for that 3rd grant that's listed on here, because that is something that is coming to the county very quickly. So the first grant on there was back in 2015 flood infrastructure. Those funds came to the county, contract start date in 2018. So just to let y'all know, when a disaster happens, there's a flood that was declared in 2015, the county wasn't able to access funds until 2018 for that flood. And those are damaged floods. So whenever the flood damages, the county can use these funds to fix that. So this apparently was in Rancho Alegre. I think it was drainage.
Yeah, I think it was a retention pond on South Johnson, all the drainage.
That's actually the next grant, actually. So I think the 2015 floods was roadside drainage.
Oh, yes,
And then this next grant that you see on there that says Mitt Harvey State,
yes.
that is the one you're talking about. And that was a series of ponds. I believe there was 3 ponds presented in that application. One at McMasters, one over there by Coyote Acres and Alice Acres. So I think those ponds were supposed to complement the runoff from McMasters that was being done in Rancho Alegre from the grant from 2015. So they were supposed to work in coordination with each other. But like I said, I don't have those maps and I don't have that. Lucy is your project manager on that. And if y'all would like, I mean, I can sit down with you, we can have a meeting and we can bring Lucy in and she can give you a breakdown of everything that's occurred in these 2 grants.
I think we need to do that.
Or we can workshop it here. We can also do a workshop here if you want to do that, or we can do it with Commissioner since it's in his precinct. Whatever y'all like to do, we're willing to help with that.
Okay.
That 3rd grant that's on this list, this is the Regional Mitigation Program. So this is a MIT mod. And just to remind everybody on the court, I think Commissioner Aguilar was the only one not on the court when this came, when we came and presented this. We applied for this 2 years ago. So, and this is leftover Harvey mitigation funds, and we all know Harvey was in 2017. So
This is the one we had to go advocate for in Washington because we're trying to pull it.
yes. And so it is still very, very slow rolling, a very frustrating process with the General Land Office. But these projects are very much still in the works. I know y'all probably thought that these weren't going to come through. Recently, the county, in March, the county received a letter, it's called an NOE, a Notice of Eligibility, meaning that they've done most of the reviews for these projects and they're approved. There's only one project that they're asking for changes on, which is San Fernando Creek. And I'll go over that in just a second. But the total amount that was allocated to the county was $7,307,700. No match on this grant. So it's all money, no match, no commitment from the county yet. But they are asking for a little bit of commitment on the county's San Fernando project, and I'll go over that in a second. The second page after that is a breakdown by precinct. It looks like this. So this is a breakdown by precinct. This is how the county divided up the money. So we had $7,307,700, and it was divided up equally amongst the precincts. And if y'all remember, there was a leftover amount of $976,572 that was committed to the city of Orange Grove for drainage, okay? So each precinct got their allocation, and each precinct was able to choose projects within the precinct to to do. This breakdown here just shows how much administration, how much engineering, how much were the construction dollars, because I know that's important to y'all. And if there was any acquisition, because with drainage, we have to put acquisition in there, even if it's just a little easement.
These dates are TBDs. I guess once we get the actual approval, then the dates will come about.
Correct. Once that contract comes through, so the NOE was issued in March. They're really, we have a couple of things that we're working on with the GLO as far as San Fernando Creek and the engineer actually just sent them to me last night, that we're gonna get back to the GLO. Once they approve that, they're going to issue a contract. We're gonna review the contract with y'all, make sure that whatever y'all wanted is in that contract. And then we bring it to court, we sign the contract, and then that's when the timeline starts. And basically, it's, we do the environmental, GrantWorks does the administration, the engineer does the design. Once it's, with each of y'all, once it's designed, it goes out to bid, and then we can spend the money.
On the accusation, the amount of dollars they put on there, is it just, what's it based on the?
The size of whatever you did. So in your case, you have roadside drainage easements and a pond in Green Acres.
So they just go by the value of the property in the area or what?
I guess so. It was just an estimate by the engineer, and those are all subject to change. Because once the engineer, these are, what the GLO hasn't really understood is that when we work on a grant to apply, or we send in the project ideas, they're just guesstimates. The engineer hasn't, it's all pro bono work. The engineer hasn't sent his surveyors out there to actually survey the property and make sure that this is the actual size. They just really look at topographical maps to make sure, kind of guesstimate what size of a pond or what size of, how we're gonna have to widen a ditch or a drainage way or create one. So with that, it's really just a guesstimate on these sizes and these amounts. And so the GLO, we do have an amendment process. So once we get through the design, once the engineer gets through his design, if we need changes on there, Commissioner, we're able to make that.
I have a question.
Sure thing.
Like, on these, on the acquisition, how do the engineering firm determines of where to make ponds and stuff like that, based on what?
So I'm not an engineer, but from what they tell me, it's all through topographical mapping. And what they do is they look at the topography of the land, they look at historical drainage issues. Usually y'all have San Fernando Creek that runs right up. And we all know that it creates a lot of flooding in there's choke points in certain areas, so some subdivisions will flood because of that. And depending on what area it is, that's how it's determined, and pretty much availability of land, or whether they, for grant purposes, we're not supposed to approach a property owner or do any kind of negotiating before the grant is awarded.
Okay.
So unfortunately, that is a roadblock that we do hit sometimes, where, y'all are in the community, y'all hear, they say, oh yes, use my property. Then when it comes right down to it, they don't want to give up their property. Or they look at historically, like if it's agricultural land, sometimes the farmers can't use a corner of their land because of flooding issues. So we try to look at properties like that, or the engineer does. Those are good questions. So all the maps are there after each of these projects. In Precinct 1, we do have San Fernando Creek. The project you see here is the original one that we submitted. The issue with this project that the GLO has, and the GLO has approved all projects. The only issue they have with San Fernando Creek is that the road that we want to reconstruct, the drainage way that we're gonna improve, the road that goes over it, they'll pay for the drainage, they will not pay for the road. They will not pay for the road because it's in a floodway. So it can be in a flood zone and they'll pay for it, but if it's a floodway, they won't. And I guess this is a low water crossing, water goes over that road, it gets damaged. They don't want to pay for something that might wash out again. Even if we propose a bridge, they wouldn't pay, they just don't want to pay for that. So I was texting with the engineer actually this morning. I was estimating about 150,000. He says, no, it's more like 50 to 75,000 if, or about 50,000 to 75,000 if the county uses their own crews to build back that road after we do the drainage. So that would be a commitment, and that would be a decision for the county.
Are they gonna hold the county accountable for a certain type of build on the road?
I don't think so. They haven't gotten back. I did ask that question, Judge. They haven't gotten back to me on that. It's y'all's money that y'all would be, or y'all's crews that y'all would be using, or y'all's materials. So I don't think they would have a say in it because it wouldn't be in the contract. And that's what they're trying to take out of the contract, is that road part. So of course, we know that we can't just do a drainage project and not build the road back, because then how are we gonna cross over? So it would really be up to the county if you want to continue with this particular project and use the crews to build that back over. Like I said, the engineer's estimating roughly 50 to 75,000. He said no more than you know, if you
How long is
hire
the
a
road?
contractor.
How much of it is it?
I
Section?
don't have the linear footage. I just asked him that because it's not on this map. It's not very far. It's,
Yeah, it's maybe 300 feet. That's what it looked like, maybe
I would say max, yeah. So I'm not sure what the going cost for y'all is when y'all redo your roads at y'all's standard.
Well, the drainage is gonna be brand new, so, we'll probably have to build something.
Yeah, that's not a
something
problem.
nice to preserve.
Right.
Yeah.
and to
Yeah, I
last
think
longer.
the original grant had a nice road. It had the barricades, it had the
Y'all gonna redo the culverts and all that?
everything. And the grant will pay for the culverts. I mean, we're gonna put some really good upsized culverts in there, clear out all that drainage area so that there's water flows better under the road. But they won't pay for the road. So I know Judge made a lot of calls up to everybody he could, because there is a rule on the floodway. And he really did make an effort to do that so that the county, I mean, this is the county's money, so why wouldn't we be able, we're trying to improve drainage. That's the whole point of the grant. But they didn't let us, so.
Yeah, that was, HUD.
Yeah.
HUD, yeah, they're the, I guess, the main administrators,
Yes,
and, once you get
These
to
are HUD
HUD,
dollars.
it's very hard to change their minds. We tried.
yes, you did. Yeah, so we did have several meetings. The judge even made some phone calls up to some of their offices, and even went to Washington and stuff, but they're not gonna budge on that. So it would really be up to the county. And we can bring all this back to court. This is, of course, just a presentation, no decisions, but we can present some options. We can have the engineer here, and then we can talk about it, because if it does get done, then the county would be responsible for the road. The other projects that are within this grant, also in Precinct 1, I know the commissioner at the time split her money to do two projects. One of them is this Sabin on the Creek, and the other one is a water line for County Road 111 and 117. And so, you know, I can meet with any of y'all if y'all want to sit down and go over like the details of each of these grants, because it has been a long time since we've talked about it. Precinct 2 is Mesquite Forest. And so that was also roadside drainage. I think that whole subdivision doesn't drain very well. So widening roadside drainage, and then there's a retention pond across the street. Precinct 3 was Meadow Ridge and Oak Meadow, and that was water line. That's over there out by the plant that's out there, and so they don't have water. I don't think they have sewer even, and they're right by the plant. Yes. So, so it's kind of strange, but the priority was water over sewer. So sewer might be something you think about maybe with another grant possibility if you would like to do that. But there is a water line in here to every resident out there. And then we have Green Acres Drainage. That's a big drainage project also. Commissioner, all of it was roadside drainage on the streets leading up to, which would be like County Road 469, 68, 67. All of those would lead all the way back to, divert it back to 465, and then down 465 south to a 10-acre retention pond. So that's probably why the cost of acquisition is that amount. Of course, when it gets designed, it may not need a 10-acre, it may need something smaller. That also will supposed to include safety measures for those retention ponds.
Well,
Fencing and stuff like
I
that.
don't know why he went as far as 469, and it's not 468 and 469, it's not included in that area. It was mostly 467. That's the little area you see
L?
open there. Yeah, that little open area, that's what floods real bad. And then the other one would have jumped over to 470, 471.
Yeah, I think that was a phased, I think the first phase was gonna do a couple of streets and then still divert the other streets, and then he was able to get it all in the budget. But like I said, we can bring the engineer in, we can workshop it, or we can meet with you and talk about any kind of changes. The scope of the work, I mean, I know you still want to do drainage. If GLO's okay with changes, we would just have to do an amendment on there.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. Now, what they won't let you do is if you're doing drainage and then you say, well, I want to go out and do a street project in a whole other area, that would take longer. I don't know if they would allow us to do it with the timeline on the grant. So it just really depends on how the change would be and the reason for the change, but they're open to it. Amendments. The Orange Grove project is also drainage. They wanted to drain this neighborhood. It's the southwest of Orange Grove, right by the school. And so it diverts all that community drainage to an existing ditch, but it's gonna be widened and regraded. And then it goes out onto Reynolds Street, so. Hopefully they probably have forgotten about this project. They probably thought, we're not gonna do it.
No, they haven't.
No, they haven't. Not Todd.
I know they were, yeah, Todd, last time I talked to him, he didn't mention it, but we were talking on city stuff. But I know it's much needed there. All of these projects are important to the county. And so, you know, we're just waiting on that contract. Like I said, we applied 2 years ago. So we know that costs have changed. We've been telling the GLO, like, hey, you know, if you're gonna let us apply for these grants, we do inflate the numbers a little bit, or the engineer does, to account for it, but 2 years is quite a long time. They also don't let us inflate the numbers too much. I didn't do it.
He's usually the guy at the
It's a
end.
trash
who's always
can down
missing.
here.
I heard this courthouse is haunted, though. Is that true? So, you know, these are the ones that GrantWorks are working on. I'm happy to meet with y'all on any other thing that you may have going on with any of the other grants that are
The
in here.
total is about 19.3 million with all the
The grants that are active right now?
19.3 million, that's good. That's just what you guys, so we have more money out there.
Yeah, Jim Wells County has been real active in like water and sewer type projects, especially like in the Colonia areas. Those are all closed out. Pretty much the one that's left closing out is Coyote Acres.
McMaster's.
The only thing I have a problem with is if something gets deleted from a project, y'all need to come to the court and address it.
Okay,
Because, you know, in the past, you know, things get deleted
project management side,
and we don't know about it. And then it becomes a problem.
sure.
See, so that would be my only concern.
Which, yeah, so,
Example of that is the detention pond, the retention pond on South Johnson. Originally, there was money for fencing to keep people out.
right,
The project ran short,
okay,
changes were made, and then, okay, we have a ribbon cutting and everything, and then everybody's waiting, okay, when's the fence gonna go up to keep people from dumping?
and it's
Or
not
going
gone
in
in,
there and mudding, and, you know, when it's not full. And then we find out there is no money for that.
right,
And so that's a problem for us now, because it's wide open. And
Okay.
and you can ask Commissioner Aguilar,
Yeah,
there are problems out there.
we're working on
on
bids
South
right now.
Johnson. So I'll take that back. So unfortunately, I'm the grant writer. So I get the money and then I turn it over to a project manager. And I don't even know what gets built and what doesn't get built unless I ask. So I'm glad y'all are bringing it to my attention because that's a safety issue.
Well,
So,
we have our grant administrator now, and she's gonna be keeping a close eye on all that, and we've been, of course, on speed dial with Lucy and everybody else on some of these grants, because we're blowing and going on some of those grants, and we wanna get them started, get them going, and get them completed, but.
yeah. Well, I mean, transparency is important. So I'll take that back to our project managers. Yes, sir.
You said you give your information to the project manager, right?
Yes, once we
And the
get
project
an
manager
award.
works for you, right?
No, she works for
grant?
GrantWorks.
Okay. You see, and that's what happens to most of the time, and that's where we
Yes.
disagree, because I think they should work for us. The intention is to protect the county and to make
Right.
sure that we get everything done the way we had asked
Yeah,
for, because,
well, I mean, we're hired by the county, so we should be working for you.
yeah, but I'm saying the manager, project manager.
Project
So he
manager
goes out
should-
there and like Mr. Guerrero said, something gets cut out, or it never comes back to us.
There should be a meeting because
It
there's
should be
usually,
brought back over to us.
and I haven't project managed since I worked for Nueces County, but there should be transparency there. There should be a meeting.
Yes.
There also, depending on what grant it is, sometimes we're required to have a public hearing if we have a grant change. GLO is a little more lax in that. TDA, if anything happens with the Texas Department of Agriculture grant, a change like that, we have to have a public hearing to let the public know that we're changing something. And that means we have to let you know before that. So, yeah.
And that's why we're here, and I think that, the more education everybody has here, the more involved they're gonna get. So that's a good
Exactly.
thing.
I agree.
Yeah, I would just like for project managers to be more involved with commissioners and everybody, to keep them informed of what's gonna get cut out or come to commissioner's court. And because sometimes, I haven't seen the engineer that's running these, grants so far. I've called them, but, we just talk and nothing happens after that, so.
Okay.
And I think for the sake, it takes such a long time for things to happen. We talk today, and then 2 months down the road, say, hey, we did do that, but the GLO, whoever it is, it runs slow.
They do, but the
And I'm not even
communication should-
picking on GLO, I like GLO, every time I call, they help me out, no, without a doubt, so I just use that as an example.
Yeah, unfortunately, the disaster mitigation grants take longer than the normal, like a TDA, just a simple water line, a Colonia grant, or a community development grant. That's water, sewer, streets. Those are a little faster. When it's disaster and mitigation, and both state agencies are governed by HUD for these programs. And they're the same rules, but GLO kind of goes a little bit above and beyond because they want to make their contracts audit-proof. And so that's why the review process has taken 2 years. For TDA, we apply, I think the newest deadline is June. You're awarded by November. So, and your contract starts that February. So it's a little bit more of a machine over there with Department of Agriculture. GLO has a little bit different, they have a little bit more responsibility as far as emergency, disasters, mitigation. And so they just want to, I guess they over-review a lot, and that's what the process has taken so long. But I will take y'all's comments back up to my team up with GrantWorks, with the project managers and their supervisors, and let them know that we need some more open communication as far as any changes or even just project
Updates,
updates.
yeah.
Yeah.
All righty.
And once I write the grant and you get it, I'm kind of out of the picture, but you can always call me.
I always do.
I'm always available for y'all. If y'all want me to come in, I'm just in Corpus. And I'm always out here anyway. So, if y'all want me to come and sit down with y'all, if you have anything you want to talk about on any of these grants or anything else, if I can help you, I'm here. So I will.
Thank you
pass
so
it on.
much.
Yes, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Can I ask for a 5-minute recess?
Right now, it is 10:03. We're gonna recess for 5 minutes. We still have another presentation, so we'll recess for 5 minutes and we'll come back at 10:10. We're good? Okay. Jim Wells County Commissioners Court, it's 10:15 a.m. We're back in session. Agenda item number 8, discuss, consider, and take action for Commissioner Huicho Gonzalez, Precinct 4, to enter in a lease and purchase agreement with Candace Equipment Finance for 2026 Mack GR 64F tractor truck.
Judge, it's the same contract we go through every year. They bring a new one, and we pay the $25,758. So this is just we got 2 trucks right now, and this is one of them that we're fixing to get a new one for.
That
Motion to
program-
approve.
That program's been working good.
Very good, and I highly recommend it to everybody else. I know Renee, Precinct 3, you did it, and I believe, well, Margie had done it in the past. We have 2 vehicles, and it really works very well when we do road work, so saves a lot of time. You can't go wrong. They bring one, you take the other one, no questions asked. Almost.
Real dependable.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Did you look over this?
I already submitted the opinion letter, has already been written and signed, and I delivered it, or we've been delivered it.
Okay. Signature pages here. Agenda item number 9, discuss, consider, and take action to declare certain county property, equipment, and furniture as surplus and authorize its sale and auction pursuant to Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 263, Subchapter D.
Commissioners, Judge, I have 6 pieces of equipment that I'd like to put up for auction. Over the years, they've taken, a lot of use, and they're not in very good condition, so we'd like to put those items up for auction to acquire. With the sale of these, we can acquire, probably replace a couple of items that we sell.
I also have 2 pieces of equipment, Judge.
And I gave each one of you all the list of the equipment that we're gonna put up for auction.
Is that I had one, but we didn't put it on there. It's right here, George,
Yeah,
to add with addition.
we'll turn in a list that has serial numbers and the type of equipment and stuff.
Can we do that?
That's what you're asking?
Including,
Right, in other words, it probably should be written up before you take a vote, but maybe you just want to handwrite it.
Mine is, I have a list of
Yeah.
models and serial numbers.
Yeah, right, so we've already got one list, but they want to add some more items, is what they're saying.
I just have one item.
You want to just handwrite it at the bottom?
Okay.
Yeah, right. I can write it on George's, because I left it in my office, actually.
That way we have something to document
Yeah,
what
okay.
was approved for sale. And the auditor's office can take it.
Yes.
A copy of the list? I think there's extra copies here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, they're gonna add.
I'll get you the serial numbers and everything, because, you know, on it. Actually, I went by your office and I had it in my hands, but you weren't there when I went by there.
Okay. Can I entertain a motion?
Can I, I'm gonna add one item, so I'm waiting for the information right now.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
ready, Judge.
Okay. Can I entertain a motion? I'll make a motion that we approve the item list with the additional items that are being added, and approve agenda item number 9 as stated with the additional items.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 10, discuss, consider, and take action to designate project expenditures and approve allocation amounts of Jim Wells County tax notes, Series 2023 funds. This agenda item is to designate certain projects for the tax note Series 2023 that we approved back then. We have an amount of 1.5 million, 1,575,000 to be exact. We had applied for the Texas Historical Commission grant to remodel our courthouse. And the concept was that if we were gonna wait on this money in case we didn't get the grant, and through that grant, we filed for over $3 million for the grant, and we did not get it. So through these funds, and through an agenda item later on, and which is agenda item number 14, we want to use $1.2 million to update a priority list for the courthouse. And then with the rest of that money, I want to designate it for 2 projects, which is one, the elevator project at the bank building, and then for the communication systems for the sheriff's department. Now, the 1.2 and the elevators, which is another 280,000, was gonna take the majority of it. But whatever's left of it, I wanna be able to use it to that in conjunction with other monies that we're gonna allocate for the communication system. So I'm asking Commissioners Court to approve these 3 projects in order to utilize that money. And that money, we have to spend it, if I'm not mistaken, by September. We signed the dotted line, I think, September 6th of 2023. We have 3 years, so we need to finish it by August or September 1st of next year to exhaust these funds. So that being said,
I'll make a motion to approve item number 10 is presented, Judge.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, guys. Agenda item number 11, discuss, consider, and take action to approve payment of all distributor repairs invoice number WS 24215 at $18,887.68 for the chip spreader repair invoice number. Thank you all very much. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
IN 63482 in the amount of $1,558.46, and to designate the line item source for reimbursement payment.
I put this on here. I had to take the oil truck to Cooper because there was a lot of things wrong with it and couldn't be fixed here at the yard. And this is the amount that it cost to get it fixed. And on the chip spreader, the kit display, that's the little computer display letting you know how much rock comes out per minute, all that kind of stuff. I mean, when we didn't have that, we had to just throw in rock, test it, see if it was enough or too much, and now with this, it works perfect. So we're fixing to get started. Seal coating. Hopefully Monday. So I wanted to get with the court to find out, you know, this is shared equipment, so how are we gonna pay this?
I understand what you're saying, what we're talking about and everything, but I still have bills here that were never paid to me from the previous time that we did the repairs to it. So I don't know if we want to sit down and work the differences out or what you want to do. I am about to also say that I really don't even want to participate in that program anymore with that truck because we have our own equipment in. But, you know, I still have tickets here. No precinct has ever paid us. So I have copies of them, copies of the emails that I've sent to each precinct. I have pictures of the truck when we let go of the truck. It was clean, it was perfect, everything was running. So, like I said, if you want to sit down and we'll discuss the differences, we can do that. But I honestly don't even want to participate with the truck anymore, that equipment. We have our own, we're fully equipped with everything. So you might just end up being very lucky.
Well, I know
But I don't.
I have
like I
receipts
said,
also that I paid
And I understand,
before.
and we're about the same thing, so we have copies here, and I can pass them out to anybody, but we never got paid for it, so. However you guys want to do it.
So this is a chip spreader, how about the oil distributor?
The main one is the oil distributor, 18,800, almost 19,000.
So you got the machine already?
We just got it, yes.
Well, I've really never been a part of the sharing, but, you know, I would like to become a part of it. And I'm willing to pay my share. You know, Commissioner Gonzalez had the same issue here a few years ago. And if we could maybe combine both of them, you know, and maybe we can all share the expense, you know. Commissioner Gonzalez, you know, I know you turned in, you never got paid for that?
No, sir.
So, okay, so maybe we can combine the expense for these,
Sure.
these two invoices, and then I think the auditors can divide it, Cindy? And so we can move forward and, because by saying this, I would also like to be in the rotation to use it, you know, because I think we've discussed it before, that maybe me and you can use it together. And so that would be, my motion would be to share expenses divided through the 4 commissioners' precincts and pay for both.
I know I think I have one also, because the last time I picked it up, I had to take it to French Ellison, and, which, of course, the warranty was, you know.
So I have to pay part of that even though we have our own equipment?
Well, if you're not going to use it, I guess you.
And that's what I'm saying, it's basically what's gonna end up happening is they can keep it, you know, I don't need it anymore. We have our own truck that's a lot better than this one.
Okay,
We finally
but
got it going.
if,
So, you know,
if y'all are
you know,
not gonna
it's
use
been
it.
enough. So you wanna do the same thing, it's up to you,
then,
but
Precinct 3 and 2 can pay for your invoice.
we've had it, what, 8 years, Ventura? 9, 10 years almost?
Yeah.
I think we've had it for about 10 years since they donated.
Well, if, if the,
I think it was like 6.
Yeah, it was,
Couple of years
it was,
before
it
me.
was right before it came in, they had already gone,
It was
because they had never used it.
6 years.
so I make a motion that precinct 2 and 3 pay for your repairs.
You want to include that they,
Would that be good with you?
Yeah.
And then we can, share it, and although precinct 3 and, precinct 4 and 1, you know, they got their own, so we can share ours.
Okay. Let's do it. Do we get with Cindy on that, or how are we gonna?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll pay for this invoice in the, precinct 2 and
do it
3.
in in-kind.
We'll split it, so we'll expense it out of it.
Eh, why not?
Okay.
All right,
Got a motion.
Renee,
second,
you can do it in in-kind.
got a second.
Work.
I have a motion and I have a second.
Mr. Garcia, would you like to pay for that in in-kind? Okay, who made the motion?
Mr. Garcia,
Mr. Garcia, seconded.
I already have a second.
Okay, go ahead.
So, I have a motion, I have a second. Are we clear on what the motion is? Yeah. Yeah, I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 12, discuss, consider, take action to approve road use bond guidelines and rules for Jim Wells County.
This is another one I put in, because I've got companies on county roads that are not built for these heavy loaded 18-wheelers. They're making a mess. I'm out there every other week on the same roads, and it's just not fair to the constituents who have bad roads also. And I just feel that, you know, if we can come up with, I know that, you know, some might be grandfathered in because they're already there, but if they can start taking care of that road or rebuild it, you know, it's just horrible. But if we can make it some kind of ordinance or something in the future where, you know, if you're gonna have a business with 18-wheelers, it needs to be on a FM or a state highway. Because these roads that we've taken over from a lot of subdivisions, they were cheaply built just to sell the property, and then all of a sudden, the county took them over, and we're out there constantly because they're cheaply built. And then you have people with 18-wheelers driving them, and they're breaking off edges, and I mean, I just think something's got to be done. There's not enough money. We don't have enough money to keep going over these roads over and over and over and over when these businesses are making millions of dollars. I mean, I think they need to take care of it, you know, or we need to get an ordinance where more can't be coming in.
Is there a procedure that we can identify? Who's coming in and out?
Well, Samcat has one of these set up, and that's what Renee and I have been discussing. What we need is, you know, more specifics on the scope of who this is gonna apply to. And for example, in Samcat, it only applies to oil and gas and pipeline operators. So, you know, trucks are delivering equipment to build a solar farm or a wind farm, that's not gonna count. I know we had a big problem with a disposal well over here. That probably would fall under oil and gas activity because it's, you know, produced as a byproduct, and that those trucks were carrying up the road. So first is to identify who this would apply to. Second, set the amount. How much is the bond gonna be? Third, there has to be some kind of permitting process. Okay, we can, you know, that means you gotta designate somebody for the permit. And remember, even though it's Renee's idea, this would be countywide. To identify the people, like, let's say, okay, this is gonna apply to oil and gas operators, pipeline operators. How do we know who's
Yeah,
doing that?
that's what I'm saying.
And so we need to designate somebody to do that and possibly figure out which state websites we can look to see who's pulled a permit to do oil and gas activity or pipeline activity. Then optimal, they would come to us and say, hey, we're gonna do this, but I'm sure we're gonna have a situation where some are gonna say we didn't know about it, or they're just gonna try to ignore it. So we gotta have some mechanism to catch those people. And finally, even the sand pad ordinance says ordinary wear and tear is excluded. So what's the first thing that we're gonna need somebody to be able to identify that these are extraordinary damages, not just normal wear and tear caused by these trucks, and be able to for that to hold up.
And the
Because
permit.
all of them are gonna say, it's just normal wear and tear, you know.
The permits would I guess have a start and ending date?
They
and-
all have a start, and
they
then
have pictures.
it's on them to notify the county, hey, we've completed work. Then the county has a 45-day window to go do the inspection. And whatever, if they see damages, you deduct it from the bond, and you return the rest of the bond to them. So there's still, writing up the ordinance wouldn't be hard, I just need more direction on all these questions, and what department is gonna be assigned to. So maybe a workshop, you know, to kind of iron all that out.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Like, the specific company, they've been there for what, about 7 years?
They were there, it's probably been about 4 years.
Okay, they were on 352, messed up that road, now they're on 350, totally messing it up. I saw one truck the other day, that had like 20 wheels on just the trailer, that didn't even include the cab, and it was fully loaded. I mean, it's just, and these trucks are in, out, all day
What kind
long.
of operation is it?
Oh, Phil?
Oil field, okay, so it would be covered.
Yeah, it's, so
State
what
your
it
name for the
is-
record, please.
Lance Brown, Jim
Thank
Wells
you.
County Emergency Management. What it is it's a oil field company. They do frac stacks. All the equipment is extremely heavy. And so, you know, when Miss Renee and I were talking about it, you know, I actually live down that road, and my wife's lost about 2 tires and rims and stuff. And then now with the rain, you can't tell the potholes. And so this morning, whenever I was leaving for work, there was a car that was coming, didn't see a pothole, and man, he almost hit the ditch, and he splashed water all over me driving, 45, 50 miles an hour. But when that road was put in, probably in the 50s or so, 100%, it was not designed to have, 80,000 pounds of equipment to be driven over that road, and there's 20 or 30 trucks a day that come down that road. I mean, it is tore up bad. It's probably one of the worst roads in the county.
I think we all agree there's a problem.
Yeah.
The question is, setting up how to administer this program to make sure we catch the companies that are responsible for this. And so that's really the discussion we need to have. Who is this gonna be assigned to? And then it's gotta be somebody knowledgeable that goes out there at the end and says, this is not normal wear and tear. This is from, all these trucks, and this is how much it's gonna cost to repair. This is how much we're gonna deduct from the bond you posted when you started the project. The other issue is, I don't know that we can, I think there was some language that I saw that said that if they've already started, you can't really, go and do things or collect on things that have happened in the past. So that presents another problem. Like in this case, we could enact the ordinance, and then there's gonna be a dispute over what damages were caused before you enacted the ordinance and which ones were after. But we'll only be able to collect on the ones after. So
What about
I don't know if you would have an idea of who this could be delegated to, but it's gonna be
Okay, so-
time-consuming.
So, I guess I would recommend that we table this item, figure out all the ins and outs and develop the guidelines and then bring it back to approve the final
The
document.
closest thing we have to it is the pipeline, when they burrow into the streets or cut the streets.
Yes.
That's handled through your office, Judge, but those are maybe 5 or 6 a year, so you can handle that. This is gonna be a much bigger undertaking.
Okay.
I think the idea is a good idea. My concern is that I don't want to put so much stuff out there that eventually we end up scaring all these people away. And then our tax revenue is going to get affected. But the thing is, I understand what you're saying because I have the same problem over here. There's 1 or 2 trucks that go into I don't tell them anything right now because the road is already beat up. Once we build a new road, I'll tell them, hey, you can't use this road no more. And we can say that to them, and we can deny that.
No, I don't, okay, that's a whole nother,
You know.
we'll do this with Commissioner Marty Gonzalez. that would require, for weight limits, we have to do a complete engineering study of the whole county. And then run it by TxDOT and get their blessing.
Well,
And then, you know, what happens, they go and get an overweight, exception permit. from
Well,
TxDOT.
I got advice from a right-of-way guy. He told me, you're the only one that can tell those guys you can't go through that road. And I told him he can't go through it, and they said, okay, fine. They went. If they have access to an FM road, they need to take that road. I know prior to me coming in here, they did it in Fremont for the mud pit, and they were using the FM road, one section of county road, and we still deal with it. We left it Caliche. But my point is, like you were saying, at what point do we say, okay, this road it was already damaged. How can we put a price on it when it was already beat up? Now, if we build a road and say, okay, we got $150,000 in this road and you're using it, now you better, you know, it's gonna cost you guys because it's not fair to the people and taxpayers that put the money out there to fix that road. But on these older roads, man, like in Ben Bolt, the community, I have a couple of trucks that go in there and I said, yeah, turn it up. But until we go in there and fix it, you know, I'm gonna go tell them, hey, you can't be in here no more because you're tearing up the road. So, and I guess all those things gotta get ironed out. They gotta be looked at because,
I just like something also for the future.
yeah.
So
yeah,
other
yeah, definitely,
commissioners
yeah, yeah.
coming in wouldn't have to put up with that. You know, you want a business, you know, they'll come in and we'll say, well, no, I mean, you know, what kind of vehicles you gonna have? Oh, no, you can't have that on a county road. You need to put on FM or a state highway. They're not built for it. Otherwise, you're gonna have these people coming in, buying a cheap piece of property or something, a farmland or something.
And then that comment you made earlier about the subdivisions, exactly, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Subdivisions were approved with the roads in the past that the road wasn't even done right. They approved it, and now we're paying the price, and the people are paying the price because we're having to go back in there and repair it. That's why now we have somebody that does an inspection and then weigh it all out, and then it's our right to approve it or not, you know, and we.
And some counties have now moved to a year inspection.
Ready? And we can approve it without the maintenance, and we can approve it with the maintenance, so.
Yeah, and I agree wholeheartedly because that's taking
But
care
definitely
of our
something's gotta
taxpayers'
change.
money right there. But that being the case, I make a motion that we table this item and hold either workshops or get with other counties to see what they're doing.
Or my committee.
Yeah.
See, San Pat's got a county engineering department.
That's a little different, yeah.
So they have that in place. That's how they run it, which we don't have one. So we have to look elsewhere.
Okay, so yes, I'll make a motion, we table the item until we get a nice solid, road use bond guidelines and rules for Jim Wells County.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second, is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Agenda item number 13, discuss, consider, and take action on a lease agreement between Luis O. Smith, trustee, and Carol Mangold, trustee, leasers, and Jim Wells County leasee. The lease shall be for a term of 2 years, commencing April 1st, 2025, and ending March 31st, 2027, for Caliche purchases.
That Caliche pit is on County Road 137, Judge. And the gentleman that oversees the pit, they want a guarantee of $150 a month from the county, whether we use it or not. So we'll extract more than the minimum fee, so it's a good thing.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, and I have a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 14. Discuss, consider, and take action to approve estimate of probable costs for remodeling and construction project for Jim Wells County Courthouse and authorize the county judge to proceed to contract with Phoenix One Restoration and Construction Limited, approved design build for courthouse renovations services during a special meeting April 10, 2024. So this is partly from the agenda item from the tax note series 2023 that we approved earlier. What I asked our architects and engineers, I think Miss Susan is online.
Yes, I'm online, Judge.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for waiting for us. I know it's been kind of a lengthy Commissioners Court. Thank you so much.
Sure, no problem.
So what we did is one of the items that I passed out was the 3.5 million original cost estimate that we submitted with the, oh, not just yet, that we submitted with the Historical Commission grant application. Since we don't have that amount of money, what I asked our architectures and our engineers to do was to extrapolate $1.2 million to meet our financial budget, and to extrapolate the priority, what they feel is priority for us as far as courthouse repairs and remodeling is concerned. Miss Susan, would you like to add anything? And I think Mr. Kyle is also in there from Phoenix One.
Yeah, I mean, I could summarize the work, Judge, or if the county or, if the commissioners already are familiar with anything, you can ask me any questions that you have on it. Let me know what you prefer, if you want me to summarize or if you have any questions.
If you could just briefly summarize for the commissioners, and they have each one of the estimates, the original one, and they have the $1.2 million one, and they also have the pictures.
Okay. So, so option one, we kind of trimmed down the scope of work, like the judge said, to try and meet the 1.2 million. And we were trying to look at the most critical and serious items on the courthouse right now. And I'm just going to break them down into categories because it is all itemized on the spreadsheet. But the most critical items we thought were drainage, and they were typically in those insets of the courthouse, coming from the downspouts. So we do want to contain those downspouts and try and bring the water back out to the parking lot. And then restoring the basement windows, both in the historic courthouse and in the wing additions. The other item is restoring the masonry, and it would be limited to the masonry that's from the first floor stone banding down to grade, because there's a lot of bricks that are a bit displaced and a lot of open mortar joints at that level. And then also replace the cornice cap. In the photos, we show that there are some numerous holes and a lot of rusting on that cornice cap. You can't see it from grade, but you can see it from the judge allowed us or gave us a lift to use to be able to see those areas on the roof. And then the one other thing that we thought was pretty important is the flagpole does appear like it's leaning. So we'd like to reinforce the support for the flagpole. And there is not enough or sufficient flashing at the base. So we can definitely see water coming through the top of that dome down into the dome flooring. So that kind of summarizes the main scopes of work that we'd be addressing with the 1.2 million.
And just for the record, we did have water coming in of the basement on two areas that would be addressed with this phase of construction.
So whatever's on these photos, that's what's gonna be worked on?
Yeah, we're trying to just show you the conditions that we're addressing in the cost estimate.
For the court's information, if we ever do apply, uh, depending on if those funds get approved at the legislature, this legislature, we may apply again if we do get lucky and get awarded a grant. The work that we're doing now would serve as our match to the grant. I think this work is very much needed at the courthouse. I think with the pictures that you've seen with the windows and with the flashings, I think we're gonna see direct savings as soon as we do the remodeling, because we're gonna save a ton of energy with our heating and HVAC systems. That is correct, right, Ms. Susan?
We're actually not doing any work to the mechanical in this phase, so it's specifically the drainage
No,
and
but-
grading.
But what I mean is like the windows, we're losing a lot of energy.
Sure,
in
yes.
the windows. So once we fix the windows, we're gonna seal all that, and that'll show us an instant savings on our HVAC systems. I mean, on our bills, energy bills.
Yeah.
Are these windows gonna be like energy efficient windows, or do they have to be like historic windows?
Yeah, so what we're calling out is to restore them. So we're hoping, uh, that we can salvage the frames and potentially some of the upper sashes. And a lot of the damage is at the lower frames and at the lower sashes. So we're proposing to restore. So the THC does not, their preference is definitely not taking the windows out. So we've been pretty successful, in many of our projects that we worked on restoring them in place. So that's what's being proposed.
Uh,
And
s-
the ones, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So they're gonna be single pane window?
Yeah, I mean, we can look at, if we're not replacing the upper sashes, then the upper lower should be the same. So so the single pane would be maintained.
Do you know that a single pane window is not very energy efficient?
I know that.
Unless we use maybe a low E glass.
But then you would have to modify, or you'd have to modify all your sashes. And honestly, we've had difficulty getting approval from the THC for replacing the glass with low E insulated glass um, unless all the windows are in very poor condition where we have to replace them all, or if they have already been replaced and we're replacing the windows. Those are the only projects through the THC that we've been able to install insulated glass. Otherwise, they have not approved it.
I mean, besides that and looking better, I mean, they're not gonna be any more efficient than what they already are. I mean, sealing air leaks and
And they're pretty bad.
I know,
Yeah.
that they're pretty bad. I mean, I guess,
Some of them don't have anything, so.
so I
Yeah,
guess,
it's one of those things in the program that, believe me, we've tried to fight for our owners to get the type of glass that they've wanted, and we've presented it, and it's been definitely a big back and forth with the THC. Um, Sometimes if you know, bring some politicians in to, I don't know, it's been very difficult. It's been kind of a point that they have not wanted to change much on. If the windows did have single pane and many of them still exist, that's what they typically require. So, but
well,
not to say that we can't present it to them, you know?
well, at least they'll have a makeover. I mean, new windows, new frame, painted, whatever needs to get done.
Weather stripping, yeah.
Ma'am, what's the 15% total construction cost? On the very top?
Uh, oh, 15. So generally, the general requirements, when we do these cost estimates, they generally fall within 15 to 17%. So I think that's where you generally are. So if you added in all those numbers, so Kyle has put in actually all the numbers for a 10-month construction period. So we're generally in that 15% ballpark. Oh, that was for the THC one. So yeah, I think you guys would be looking at the option one where he has actual numbers for everything.
1.238.
That was the original. If we do get a yes today, we shouldn't have any problems finishing before August 1st of next year.
I don't believe so.
And that money's specifically for the renovation of those, the windows and roof and everything.
So it's for the grading and drainage, masonry work below the first floor, stone banding, the cap on the cornice, reinforcing the flagpole, and let me see, there was one other, and the windows, restoring the basement windows at the courthouse, the historic courthouse, and also the wing addition. So the steel windows also, basement level only.
Any other questions or anything for Ms. Susan? That being said, I'll make a motion. We approve item as stated.
Can you add the number?
The 1.238. So I was gonna talk to you all about that because if there's not gonna be an inordinate amount of money left, but if for some reason we do have a little bit of more money because we're not gonna spend the total amount on the elevators or on the radio system. If I can just have a little bit of latitude, just in case we can add something else to it, Of course, I'll bring it to Commissioners Court and advise Commissioners Court that this is a change to the scope and how much it'd be different, instead of approving the actual amount. We'll state in the contract that we have a little bit of latitude to add more to that if we have the money. Does that sound okay? Can't do that? Okay.
The contract's probably gonna have a fixed amount, right? If you wanna do, change it, you say, okay, well, we're gonna have a little bit of money, extra money that we can spend on this, and it would have to be a change order or supplemental or amended contract.
Okay, well, that's even better, because it'll have to come to Commissioners Court to get approved. All right, okay. All right, I don't have a problem with it. We can approve, I can make my motion to approve the agenda item with the total project cost option one, $1,238,227.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and I have a second. Is there any further discussion needed?
I imagine there's gonna be some change orders, so.
Well, change orders are one thing.
Yeah,
But, no, he's talking about.
No, I understand, but.
Expanding the scope of the project is a
Yeah.
different,
Yeah, we'd have to make an amendment to the contract or add an addendum. Yeah.
Okay.
And
We
that-
did
that'll
too
be-
include an 8% contingency, so, for unforeseen conditions and
Okay,
change
okay.
orders.
Thank you. That's good. That'll work, thank you. Somebody seconded?
Yes. I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you all very much. Thank you so much, Ms. Susan, Mr. Kyle, thank
you,
you
ma'am.
all. And
Thank
you'll
you.
be here for me really soon.
Okay, thank you, Judge and Commissioners.
Well, hold on, can I ask you a question?
Yep, sure.
Will would they devise the contract and send me the contract?
Yes, he will.
Okay, so
Mhm.
I'll be waiting on that.
Yes, and he's on here, so I don't know if he was listening or, but I'll brief him. Okay,
Okay, thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you all very much. Go to agenda item number 15, discuss, consider, and take action to approve county treasurer's report and other monthly reports.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Further discussion? I noticed, Mr. Dominguez, you added the investment reports. I think if I'm reading these correctly, we have, with the $6 million we've invested, we have made a little over $500,000, 500,000, yeah. $505,000, $717.95.
So that money we could pull out pretty much anytime, right? Without and we can use it for anything?
So, the way I explain it a little bit, and
Of course, Mr. Dominguez.
and to justify a little bit, we made a big purchase when we bought the bank building, and, we got blessed that we have this amount of money, so we're kind of like making the money that we're spending. So, that's the way I'm looking at this. We made over $500,000. We paid, 400,000 off of ARPA. So if we can get a little bit more interest on this, that's what paid off our building without using our taxpayer money. And, we're in the process of updating our investment policy, And, we're starting to talk to our investment guys about maybe nailing down a fixed rate. So, it's a good thing. Yes, sir. I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 16, discuss, consider, and take action to approve auditors' monthly reports.
Renee, move your phone away from the microphone, please.
This one?
Last time mine was doing it. There you go.
What's the percentage? 60? Over. And we had a three payment pay period? Okay, so that's what's gonna even out, okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Patrick. Thank you.
Pretty good.
Can I entertain a motion?
Motion to approve item as presented.
I have a
Second.
motion, and I have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 17, discuss, consider, and take action on payroll and bills as submitted by county auditor with the exception of Fund 52, 53, and 54. Can I entertain a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Judge, can we go back to open meeting?
Sure.
Please.
We're gonna go back to public testimony, agenda item number 3.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Judge. Judge, I know, we had some great rains over a couple, last couple of days. And of course, we all know as commissioners that, we're still gonna get is grass, potholes, and mosquitoes. And Judge, you talked to me yesterday, and you mentioned that, you already talked to Mr. Gonzalez about, you're getting ready to spray for next week, so just to let everybody know, it's been happening. We ourselves got ready for some potholes, and we know we're gonna get, so. But also the mosquito factor that's coming in, so. I know you brought that up yesterday, so just to make sure, assure the people.
Thank you. Are we almost done with the rain? Yes. I guess National Weather Service has,
I know we got 3.2 tenths over there in Bimbo, so.
Yeah, so, last project was kind of great stuff. Yesterday, the total was in the afternoon when we had a meeting. Fremont had about, they were right at about 5 inches, and they had a thunderstorm coming in throughout the night, so they're probably at about 6 inches or better. Alice was at 3 inches, they took some rain last night, so they're probably around 3.5 to the west. Duval, they were about 4 and a half. La Polita area was about 4 and a half to 5 inches. Orange Grove was about 3 and a half. And further east, yeah, it was last year, anywhere from 1.5 inches to 2. But most of it was a good slow soaking rain. Our creeks did exactly what they were supposed to do. We didn't have any devastations, no unmet needs. We did have some state assets that were here state. I just got a text from the state. They came in last night. The new crews were coming in. I think the last one arrived about 3:30. I talked to them last night in the morning. They spent the night at the hotel room, dropped off their equipment at the fairgrounds. And so this morning they were doing their ITMs inside the merchants building. Right now, just got a text message. They're all getting deployed down south to Brownsville right now. They got really
Hammer over there, man. 14 inches of rain up there.
14, they got really, there's around 60. So they got devastated because, it was 3 or 4 inches within a couple of hour periods. We just got a great silver rain. So that's really shows great.
just one more thing, for the, information for our residents. We follow the National Weather Service. You may see on social medias or any, things that we put out. It's basically putting out what the National Weather Service says. We try not to reword and try not to cause any type of confusion. So when you see, on social media, you may see just us sending out the reports that we get from National Weather Service with any anything that we may add that needs to be added, whatever situation that we have. Also, J.C. Perez, myself, and Martin Ornares, yes, Ornelas, and Ms. Gloria Perez, Gloria Ramos, I'm sorry. We were in Austin yesterday at the Textile Commission meeting, and I was able to present over there on the new Real facility that's coming up on 1554. And we were presenting over there because they had to approve the $8 million for the Real project that's gonna cover the maintenance side of that. And God bless, we got it approved yesterday, and it was a real good day in Austin. And I let the commissioners and the chairman know that we're very appreciative that we're able to get those amount of monies coming into a small rural county like ourselves. And they were very gracious, and of course, we're very thankful that happened.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second to adjourn. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Jim County Commissioners Court is